I think today I want to talk about value. So how to add value in your listing. So there's a sea of fish out there, sea of competitors. So how are we become the fish with stripes, more or less, so that um, we can get people to buy, to increase our conversions and just set ourselves apart because a lot of you guys are in competitive niches. It's hard to be in a niche that's not competitive. It's just the way that it is because the competitive niches have the most traffic, have the most sales potential. So you just have to get your piece of the pie, your piece of the sales. And, SEO is part of that, but also how the perceived value, I think, is part of that as well. And how people are looking at your stuff because people are comparing your stuff to other people's stuff. So how can we kind of stand out a little bit? So the first thing, there's what do I have, like 9 things to talk about when it comes to this. So the first and probably the most important is pictures when it comes to value, just because this is something that people see. So pictures in terms of not just quality, even though quality is important. Quality in terms of not blurry pictures, pictures that are easy to see your item. Pictures that have lighting that's really good, pictures that don't have a busy background, because a lot of people try to get fancy with their pictures and get super, super creative, and then they'll have like they're all stuff on like a hay bale for like for like October or fall, and then when you're looking at that picture in terms of all the other pictures out there, you can't even see what the heck they're selling because the background's too busy. So it's good in theory, but I prefer a clean white background so your item pops and it's easy to see. So that is initial value that's going to entice people to click into your listing. And then the other stuff beyond that will in turn, that I'm going to talk about will also add value, I think, to that listing. So, you want to try to take pictures of every angle of your listing because people can't envision your item. So every angle of your item, if it's applicable, some of this stuff isn't applicable for you guys. It's depending on what you're selling. Art, you can't take. How are you going to take pictures from every angle? Art, you're going to take a picture behind the frame of the blank page. You're not going to do that. So apply this to whatever you're selling. But yeah, every angle, you want to make sure that your item is shown in use or in its space. You want to make sure that it's demonstrable. So if there's something that you need to show on how to use it or how to whatever, you need to show that in your pictures and or video. Your video, you want to try and have videos for all of your listings if possible. You go back, and if you don't have videos, you can go back and start adding those. You can turn still images into videos. If you have Canva, you can do that. You can turn still videos into images and slideshows. So that's an easy way to kind of do that. Now, video, it's 15 seconds. I think it's 15 seconds long, right? But the most important part of video is 2 seconds. So I see videos out there that have they're like transitioning. It has like a long intro where you don't really see or like fades out and you don't really see the item until like 6 seconds in. Don't do that. People are just hovering over that. So you need to hit them within the first second or two of what the item is in your video. So that's the most important part. So keep that in mind.
So I have a free SEO guide for you that goes in depth on SEO strategies and best practices so that you can apply them right away and get more traffic, get more sales at the end of the day. If you want that, type SEO in the comments, or if you're listening to the podcast, look in the show notes and I will send you over that link so you can start using that stuff right away.
The other thing when it comes to value is good reviews. So of course, once you get good reviews, they're going to show on the listings or they're going to show in your shop in general. So that is good. You're going to strive towards getting good reviews, and all this stuff that I'm talking about will help you get good reviews. And once you get the good reviews, we want to leverage those good reviews to help give us more sales and more value. So beyond having the reviews under the listing, that's if you're selling things that you can sell multiple times. Obviously, if you sell vintage or things that are one and done, it's not going to have reviews for that item. It'll just have your shop reviews. But that's fine. Either way, if you're getting good reviews, you can put those reviews in the pictures section. You can copy that review, put it in Canva or whatever, make a picture out of it, and put it in your pictures section, because people are scrolling through the pictures usually first, so it helps add value to your listing by showing someone that purchased that's happy with their purchase. Even if you don't have a review for that exact item, just use another review that's similar for something similar in your shop. You know what I mean? Because it'll still show that people are happy with their purchase and what they're buying from your shop. So yeah, use those reviews, put those in your picture section. Think of your picture section a little bit more dynamically. It's not always quote unquote pictures, right? You can fill up those spots with other information or value items or things to entice people to buy. So think of it that way. The other thing that you can do, kind of a more creative way that you can do to add value, is add something that complements your item, that's in addition to your item. So this can be, and it really varies depending on what niche you guys have. So it can be like an instructional guide, it can be a tutorial, it can be a PDF, something that that brings value to your item. Examples, like if you have if you sell art or photos, maybe it's a hanging guide or like a framing guide, or where to go to get your item framed if they're just selling the art itself without a frame, something like that. Or maybe it's a cleaning guide or a care guide if you sell jewelry. Different things like that are value adds, and you want to showcase those in your listing, in your pictures or in your description. You want to showcase those value adds. So when I think of this, like, so I don't know if you guys can see this. So this guy I got, so he is what the heck did they call him? An accountability banana. I don't know if you guys can see that. I can't see my screen for some reason. Where's my screen? Oh, there's myself. All right, yeah, accountability banana. So he, Etsy seller sent that to me, and I like it. It keeps me accountable, and it's hilarious. But what he does is he sends an instruction manual, a funny, quirky instruction manual with it. It's like 8 pages. It's super small, but it's like how to use your accountability banana, and it's hilarious. I don't even know what I did with it, but it's really, really good, and it's really, really funny, and it's a great value add for something as simple, as a figure, as a banana that you would never think of. So little things like that, I think, can go a long way with adding value, and you can get creative with it, and it's just, it's super, super cool. The other thing with this is another idea for you to add value is customizable options. So this can help add value if you offer ways to customize your products. This isn't for everyone or every niche, so only do it if it makes sense for you. But customization is becoming more and more popular. So if it makes sense for you to be able to do it and do it inexpensively and not cost you a lot of time or money, maybe you want to offer some type of customization options in your listings, or do additional listings that offer some type of customization. So I think that could help. Another way to add value is with accessories or complementary items. So what can you, and this is kind of similar to what I was talking about with like instruction guides or stuff like that, but what can you add for free with your listing that will add value and cost you little? So this could be, maybe it's some type of carrying bag, or it's a sample for another product. I mean, that's a great way to add value after the fact. Cleaning kit or something like that. So again, get creative with this. If it makes sense for your niche, there's things that you can do, you can add that your competition is not doing. A lot of this really comes down to what can you do that your competition is not doing to wow people when they're clicking into your listing, and then they're going to compare your stuff to other people's stuff. They're like, oh, okay, this is a lot more value, and you can also raise your prices, above your competition, because you're justifying it with these value adds. Another way to add value is your packaging. This can be pretty important. So a high majority of sellers, or a high majority of buyers rather, are buying their stuff as a gift for someone else. So you should showcase your packaging again in your pictures. You can talk about it in your description, both places. You got to be redundant a lot of times in your listings because people don't see or read everything. So I think that's important to kind of be a little redundant. But so how can you add or how can you package your stuff that looks nice? So if people are buying it for a gift, they can entice people with what they're getting. That people can be like super happy, and they're going to see that in your pictures or whatever, and they're going to buy it because you're shipping it in a nice way, and they're getting it as a gift. So keep that in mind if you want to, if you can package your stuff really nicely. High quality descriptions, I think, are important. So use value terminology in your descriptions, plus mention all the stuff that I've been talking about. If you have it, you can use, and basically the description is asking or answering any question a customer might have before they ask it. And then also it is like your mini non-salesy sales pitch of what the item is, why you should buy it, talking about the quality of the item, how it was created, the attention to detail. So enticing someone to buy it if they go and read their description. So keep that in mind as well. The other thing is scarcity is a good way to add value. Etsy does use scarcity to add value on the front end of they have badges. So if you only have one of something, they'll be like, there's only one of something. Or if it's in 10 other people's carts, they'll put that. So there is scarcity built into the Etsy platform, but you could also use some of that scarcity if you sell stuff that's maybe limited edition, or there's only 3 available, or there's only 1 available. Again, you can mention that in your description, your pictures, in addition to the type of value that or the type of scarcity tactics that Etsy already uses on the front end. But you should be mindful of the things that Etsy does, the badges on the front end, to entice people to buy, such as the limited quantities in people's carts. If you have a sale, they'll put it's ending soon. They'll put it that's ending in the next day or whatever. So those are things that Etsy does on the front end to entice people to come and buy from you. And then on the back end, you can further kind of push that forward with what you're doing in your listings and in your description. The other thing that you can do, the last thing I have for you is social proof. So kind of in terms of what I was talking about with reviews, putting the reviews in your listing. I mean, that's good social proof to show that, hey, people are happy with this purchase, with what they have bought. You can also use their you can also use their pictures. Some customers are putting their photos in, are sharing their photos of them buying the item and it being used. So you can reuse those pictures. You can throw it in your photos and showcase that, hey, this is a happy customer, here's how they're using it, as social proof, which I think is good. The other thing that you can do is put, if you've sold some items before, you can put that like over 50 of these have been sold, or over 10 of these have been sold, or something like that. Some other social proof elements in your listing, again, to entice people to want to come back and buy from you. So those are some different ideas for you guys, depending on your what you're selling, your niche, at least to get your wheels turning, so that you can use those value adds to encourage people to buy, but also justify your prices, and possibly even justify a little bit higher prices than your customers. Because a lot of people, when they start, they immediately they lowball themselves, and that's a race to the bottom, right? You can do mid or high level. You just have to justify. You have to justify the reason you're doing that, with those value adds.